Nicole with Ostomy Innovations, where we discuss Crohn's disease, colitis, IBS, and of course, ostomies. Today, we will be talking about mental health. So just a little trigger warning to people. We won't be getting too much into it, but I just want to let you know this is a mental health video. As someone who battled with years of anxiety and depression, I mean, I'd say probably as far back as 13 when I can remember, I decided that, you know, enough was enough, and I started making changes in my life. Obviously, like you, I never gave up. I found that going through those bad times and the pain really led me to be a stronger and more appreciative person of the small things in life. I want to discuss a few things that I learned along the way, and things that I think, you know, if you are experiencing, as a person experiencing mental health, and you also have a colostomy or Crohn's disease or anything, these are things that I think will help a lot. And there doesn't even have to be just inclusive of those. It could be towards anybody. And some of these are obvious, but I think they all have to kind of be used together in a sense. Or they're all things that I learned over several years that all came together to shape me and mold me into the person I am now. The first thing, this is just me speaking to you, but me by saying, you know, that life isn't over as much as it feels like life is over. In fact, for me, having an ostomy gave me my life back. I'm in less pain. When I do have the pain, it lasts so much less time. And it's freed me to having to have those rush to the bathroom moments. Of course, we're still going to have those in our bag, but it's lessens the chance of having an accident. And for that alone, that's helped my mental health alone, knowing that I'm somewhat protected for the most part. So yeah, so just by starting to say that life isn't over, and I apologize even in advance if that sounds harsh for people who feel like that, because I'm not diminishing your pain or what you're going through. That is not what I want to say. I just do think that eventually things will start to work themselves out for you, which is what I'll get into here in a bit. But the other thing I want to say is getting support. So when you have a mental health issue in general, therapy is a good start. It's something I used for a long time. Also dialectical behavior therapy, which kind of teaches you some of those rewiring techniques. It's a long program if you do stick it out. I want to say I was in DBT for a year and a half, I think, and I was there 3 days a week for 3 hours a day. So it was a very long process, but it definitely was a start in me getting back in the right direction of learning new ways of coping. There's so many skills that you can learn, and some of them that I still implement to today. So yeah, so getting support. So whether that be therapy kind of related or non-therapy for your Crohn's or your colitis issues, or your ostomy, there's many Facebook group sites. I'm on a ton of them, a ton of Facebook group sites. My only warning with that is just to, like any social media, it's easy to find the narrative you're looking for and stay on that bandwagon. But maybe look for the positives, maybe look for the people who are giving the good advice, the people who are uplifting, the people who aren't so down on themselves, because we don't want to add to us. If you're feeling down, you don't want to add to yourself feeling down by listening to someone else. So not focusing on those negative parts. So if that could trigger you and make you feel more down, then maybe Facebook group sites aren't the best for you. I would start with maybe even local support groups, or United Ostomy Association, the UOAA. You could go to their site. There's a lot of others, Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. There's a lot of other sites that you can go to find support groups, and whether they're via online, I think that there's a lot out there. So getting support and feeling that you're heard, right? Because our disease can sometimes look like an invisible disease. You know, people don't always know you have it. They especially don't always know you have a colostomy bag and that you suffer from this pain and this excruciating disease that we have. And so it can be very invisible to some people. And yeah, it's important to find like-minded people. The third thing that I wanted to bring up was like controlling your emotions. And I've spoke about this in other videos, but definitely learning how to get in touch with your emotions, which is what you'd probably learn in therapy or like DBT or some other group like that, is learning how to control your emotions. Because your emotions, once you've reached this heightened level of emotional states, it's super hard to come back down, or you reach that and then you realize that you over dramatize something. And the part about it is how it makes you feel inside, and that affects you, that affects your gut health. And when we carry around negative emotions and negative feelings, and worry and stress, like those things really, really affect what's inside. That I've started kind of incorporating into my life is a little bit slower of living. And like that can vary a lot based on your situation, your work schedule, your life schedule, your kids, your family, all these things, right? And we know that, and I know that. I was a single mom, you know, with 3 kids. And so I totally understand how stressful that can be with trying to live a little slower life. So whether that means getting up earlier or being more organized, making sure everything's set out the night before, making sure things are done. It may take seem like it takes a little bit more work, but it also ends up alleviating a lot of stress and helps you to live a little bit slower. So, you know, allows you to get up in the morning and maybe do a meditation, which is the next thing I was going to mention, is meditation. So I have found the ability to quiet my mind and being able to turn things off in your mind are very important. Start slow. So start with a minute, start with 5 minutes, you know, maybe slowly increase it. Maybe try some guided meditations. You can go on YouTube and find quick 5 minutes, 1 minute, 10-minute guided meditations. Being in nature, the natural healing that nature provides is so invigorating. It's so real. And I know for me, when I don't get a specific period of time, I did not get those hours or time that I would normally spend in nature. I didn't get that. And it takes a toll. So it's finding any time that you can just spend, even you can incorporate the meditation, the slow living, and the nature almost into the same thing. You can incorporate that all together. Same with resting, you know, make a half hour to rest, be in nature at the same time, meditate, be slow. And then if you want to add on to that, you can start grounding yourself, which is literally being barefoot and putting your feet in the soil whether that's the grass, the sand, grounding yourself and connecting your body to the earth. So if you could put all those things together in a, half-hour period, you're winning. But yeah, even just trying a few of those starting off. So slow living, meditation, nature, grounding. The other thing is you could also incorporate that attitude is gratitude, stating out loud what we're grateful for. Another great tool to help you de-stress and take away some of those mental health issues you might be going through. The other thing is our hygiene and our clothing, which I kind of feel like go together. As Ostomates have a bag on us, obviously, and or when you don't have a bag and you've been frequently using the bathroom, obviously taking care of some of those issues, changing our clothes just to make us feel better. Those little things can definitely make a huge difference in our own mental health. The slow living, the meditation, the nature, the rest, the grounding, the hygiene, the clothing, the gratitude. When I talk about those things, I also do know that there are times in your life where you can do all those things, or you can't even, or in conjunction, you can't even think about doing even one of those things because you're in so much distress that even the thought of thinking about those things doesn't work. When you're at that level, I urge you to please get help. And if you're feeling any certain way, there's numbers, there's hotlines, there's other people that you could reach out to, I hope. I just know that I can say those things, but I think a lot of these things that I'm giving you or telling you are kind of preventative measures. So when you're in super distress, some of those might not work, but if they do, great. When I started to finally incorporate getting support and controlling my emotions and these tips that I gave you that I use, and I was able to change my relationships like one at a time. So removing all these bad relationships from my life because they just didn't jive anymore with the person I was becoming. But then it wasn't fair to me because I was actually setting boundaries. I was actually realizing my worth and turning those bad relationships into good relationships. And not because you're throwing people out of your life, but you have to realize at some point that, you can't be weighed down by things that are not good for you and not healthy. And sometimes we just have to make drastic choices in our life. And that could mean as far as leaving a job, it could be leaving a relationship or many relationships or friendships. It could be maybe staying away from family at times if you have to. It could be having to move, unfortunately. But, I know those are drastic things, but I know that at times there are times where those things may have to come into play, and sometimes it's just the way that our physical and mental health end up working out to be better for ourselves and better for everyone else too. So with that being said, stay strong. You have it in you to keep going, because if you're here and you're listening to this, then you are feeling that something, right? You're feeling that you can do it because you're here listening to it. So remember too, you have a story to tell and someone else needs to hear that story. So stay strong, stay focused, stay thinking of you and being healthy and happy and inspired.